Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome at the English news program here at Ora News. And now, tonight's news. The Court of Tirana has decided to keep in prison the former Director of Treasury in Linz, Dorian Ciolacu, who is accused of duty abuse. The hearing session lasted only a few minutes, as the judge read the verdict. On his part, the defense lawyer of Ciolacu stated that he will appeal the court's decision. Dorian Ciolacu surrendered yesterday at the Police Directorate of Tirana, becoming so the 10th person arrested and related to the theft of 713 million lek in the Bank of Albania. Furthermore, the police are investigating 5 other employees who are suspected to be related to this theft. The prosecution stated that based on a decision of the Supervisory Council of the Bank of Albania in 2012, the former director of the Treasury was tasked to undertake initiatives to extract laws, regulations, and relevant guidelines in order to ensure the proper functioning of that department. But according to the results of the prosecution, since January 2013 until March 2014, he has taken no such initiative, thereby creating opportunities for abuse, opportunities which led to the grand theft of $7.1 million. On his part, Ciolacu preferred not to speak during the hearing session. "I am not aware of anything that has happened. I will speak at another time in the presence of my lawyer," said Ciolacu at the time of his arrest. 6 other employees arrested a few days ago claimed that they did not perform their duties as it should, since the Treasury had no proper regulation to determine their responsibilities. Protests against the bank's governor of Albania, Ardian Fullani, have once again started today. The protesters, who gathered in front of the Albanian Central Bank, requested from the governor to resign. They stated that these protests will continue until 8 p.m. and promised that other protests will follow until the resignation of Governor Fullani. Once again, the protesters made Governor Fullani responsible not only for the theft of 713 million lek from the Treasury, but also for the luxury in which his family lives. "There have been enough stolen at our expense. All should come here and not think of their personal interest. We have to think as a nation so that we can move forward the way we deserve," said one of the protesters. Another one of the people gathered in front of the Albanian Central Bank stated that starting from tomorrow, the protests will be directed at the state institutions to request from them the resignation of Governor Fullani. "Starting from tomorrow, we will turn to legal institutions. We all know that a serious act happened in this one. Over $7 million were robbed, an amount which scares the citizens, but not the governor, who continues to ignore us. We urge everyone to come to this square. But what can the prosecution do when the governor is in charge of this institution? They are trying to manipulate and hide the evidence. The situation is serious, and we cannot allow this. Fullani, go away. Rama, react," was written among the placards of the citizens were holding, hoping that their calls will end with the resignation of the governor Ardian Fullani. The leader of the Democratic Party and also the mayor of Tirana, Lulzim Basha, held a meeting with the new leaders of the structures of the Democratic Party at the end of the electoral process in this party. The competition was made with dignity and seriousness. Each one of you brought a valuable contribution by honoring the free vote. Good luck and success in the noble task of leading the structures of the Democratic Party. You were chosen by the free vote, open, strong and honest competition, stated the head of the opposition and the mayor of Tirana, Lulzim Basha. The leader of the Democratic Party assured to all Democrats who participated in the elections that their contributions and support will be respected. The Democratic Party remains open. We are a major political party that was created and lives based on a free mind. Its members are equal shareholders of this company, stated the head of the opposition. Among other things, Basha expressed his confidence that the Democratic Party will ascend and will return as a winner in the next elections. "We will move the country away from crisis. We will restore values, democracy, participation, commitment, and the culture of service to the citizens," concluded the head of the Democratic Party, Lulzim Basha. the deputy of the Democratic Party, Kastriot Islami, has today accused the silence of Prime Minister Rama regarding the facts that clearly show that crime has entered the parliament. Islami said that Rama decided to remove 2 honorable women from the list to make room for current deputy Arben Doka in the parliament. After Rama's verbal threats and offensive language for nearly 9 months, most recently, exactly 20 days ago, we saw and heard, in front of the eyes of the entire public, Rama's organization of violent actions. Individuals convicted of the most serious criminal offenses were ordered to strike, to threaten members of the opposition with their lives in the most unacceptable attempt in a democracy to silence the opposition. Everything was made transparent to Albanians and to our international partners. Evidences and facts are incontrovertible, but Prime Minister Rama continues to be silent. The more days pass in silence, the more Prime Minister Rama and his criminal alliance extend their hands to grab every institution in Albania. The opposition's message are not being listened by Rama, but they are being heard from the public, no matter if they are socialists and Democrats, without discrimination, because their line of profound division is oligarchy, criminality, and all of these are organized from Prime Minister Edi Rama. The Prime Minister of Albania, Edi Rama, has immediately reacted in his social network of Facebook after the declarations of Kastriot Islami that regarding Rama's silence about the fact that crime has entered the parliament. Rama ironically said that the honesty of the opposition is left in the hands of Kastriot Islami. During his statement in Facebook, Rama wrote that the political honor, democratic values, and the intellectual honesty of the opposition was left in the hands of Kastriot Islami. In another written statement, Rama talked about the agreement with chess. According to Rama, the faces that show up on screen are the same faces of those people who try to destroy the electric system of Albania. For several days, the Democratic Party has accused the government of causing to the country a loss of $3 billion with the agreement signed with a Czech company. The leader of the Democratic Party, Lulzim Basha, is finalizing his electoral campaign within the party with his final visits in Skrapar and Colonia. During these meetings, Basha talked about the situation that the country is going through. The leader of the opposition and the mayor of Tirana said that insecurity has increased, the economic situation is more aggravated, taxes are high, there's a lack of investments, jobs are closing, and in these first 300 days, people in need have not received even a penny from the state. He said that besides their health, the government has also restricted the people's rights. The situation is worse than ever. They have not only attacked the wealth of Albanian people, but now they're also attacking their rights, said Basha, referring to the reaction of the Ministry of Technology and Innovation in accordance to the registration of IMEI numbers. Basha also commented on the government's decision for higher education, for which he said that it has caused confusion and insecurity for every citizen, student or parent, adding that this was decided to serve to the personal interest of the government. Let us stop on the so-called reform in education, which is nothing else but something to serve to the best interest of monopolies, to install gigantic corruption schemes in one of the most vital sectors of the present and the future of Albanians, said Basha during his meeting in Skrapar. The Albanian government in mid-August will officially open competitions for recruitment in public administration, after some long suspensions. The announcement was made public from the Minister of Public Administration and Innovation, Milena Harito, during an interview at Ora News. New contests will be open in mid-August, and they will be developed according to free job positions, said Harito. The minister rejected the opposition's accusations and claims about the removal of 7,000 employees from the public administration, officially declaring that there are about 260 civil servants at the waiting list, mainly due to dismissals in the administration. Minister Arito focused on the recent debate regarding the registration of the serial number of the mobile devices and said that the opposition is trying to mislead the people. According to Minister Arito, the IMEI code contains no interference in personal data of device users. Albanians have 90 days in their disposal to register their mobile phones, said Arito. Otherwise, they will be penalized and their electronic communications will be blocked. All employees who do not declare their real wages to the state risk of remaining without pensions. The Minister of Social Welfare and Youth, Erjon Veliaj, told to the students that they should insist to be legitimate in the labor market because the government does not always have the opportunities to fight informality in Albania, which amounts to the figure of 30%. Today, we have registered about 700,000 jobs that are legalized, but 30% of people work illegally. Labor Inspectorate in Albania has less than 100 people. This means that it is physically impossible to assign a police in every business or any family undertaking that do not declare their job. So, the principle is that we make a police state, said Veliaj. Minister Veliaj described the closure of most of the private universities as a step for the future of young people, directing them towards professional schools. He urged the parents to eradicate any mentality they have about professional schools. Compared to other countries of the region, Albania has the smallest percentage of those who attend professional schools, concluded Veliaj. The Democratic Party has once again returned to the agreement that the Albanian government made with the Czech company ČEZ. The Democrats accused the government of causing the country a loss of $3 billion with the agreement it signed with the Czech company. We all expect the majority to make transparency regarding ČEZ, but the Prime Minister misses the facts and avoids responsibilities. Evidence suggests that the government is hiding the truth about the agreement with ČEZ. International reports estimate that ČEZ is guilty and that Albania can require up to $3 billion of damage. But the government, instead of going to arbitration, engaged with an agreement to identify the Czech company ČEZ with 95.5 million euros, said the member of the parliament of the Democratic Party, Eno Bozdo. This agreement paves the way to increase the energy price, said Bozdo. The closure of more than half of private universities has turned into a legal battle between the government and investors in this field. Suspended universities responded to the same coin in the threats of the ministry and of the Prime Minister Edi Rama regarding criminal responsibility. The university, Hëna e Plot, which has a high percentage of foreign students attending courses in Albania and 7 graduate programs, has its activity suspended for 3 months. The suspension has come for technical reasons. The rector, Dr. Ferdinand Gjana, said that after some interventions in this university, it will return to its normality. But private universities have not yet recognized the printed report of the government. The directors of universities said that no one is graduated without studying. Meanwhile, Ora News contacted some executives of private universities in the country, but many of them were reluctant to give opinions, saying that this report was a surprise and that they would speak only on the doors of the judiciary. "260 mediation cases were presented in less than 2.5 years at the Office of Mediation, which operates near Gjirokastra. According to the representatives of this office, the issue that needs mediation have mostly been civil issues. The coordinator of this office, Lindita Luzo, says that over 85% of cases run in this office have been successfully resolved. According to her, the aim of this office is to be a mediator between the parties in conflict to resolve problems so that they do not address to the judicial system. Mediation office in Gjirokastër was made possible through the support of USAID and funded by the Justice Strengthening Program in Albania. The project is implemented by the Multifunctional Community Center in Gjirokastër. This is the third office in the Republic of Albania, while 2 other offices are in Durrës and Korça. Dozens of residents in the village of Gura in Mat protested against the reconstruction of the water supply of drinking water. They presented that the reconstruction of the water supply would collect all the water and will leave them without water for irrigation. According to them, it is more important to use the water for irrigation rather than to drink it. They say that they will not stop their protest until the suspension of the project, which has already begun and is financed by the Albanian Development Fund. The mayor of the commune, Mustafa Selami, said that the claim of the villagers is unfair because there is not being built a new water supply system, but it is being made a reconstruction regarding the existing one. According to him, the villagers want to avoid paying the drinking water. There are over 150 nationals from Kosovo who have gone to Syria to fight against the forces of President Bashar al-Assad. Some of them have been killed fighting jihad, while some others have already come back to Kosovo. Meanwhile, the return of Kosovo nationals from the Syrian war is seen as a danger for the general security of the country. Syrian war is seen as a danger also for the general security in the country of Kosovo. Law enforcement agencies in the country say that Albanians who have gone to Syria do not act in an organized manner, and as such, they pose a grave danger. Syria do not act in an organized manner, and Albanians are causing a danger. Nevertheless, those who pose a risk for potential terrorist acts in Kosovo are those individuals who, upon their return from Kosovo, they may be involved in terrorist attacks. United States Ambassador to Kosovo, Tracy Ann Jacobson, says that threat from terrorism exists everywhere today. In the context of the war against terrorism, I hope that the new parliament will once again examine the law on foreign warriors, which the previous parliament had passed in principle, but which has not yet entered in force. This is important for the security of Kosovo, said Ambassador Jacobson. Jacobson has made these comments today during her visit at the Ministry of Interior to make a donation for the police and customs of Kosovo. Experts of security issues have recommended to the Kosovo Intelligence Agency to create a special structure alongside the one that it has for the fight against terrorism in order to exclusively deal with the issue of extremism. Naima Loku, expert of military and security issues, said that all security institutions must take measures in order for Kosovo not to become a shelter for extremist criminal groups. I believe that the Kosovo Intelligence Agency must have a special sector, although it has a sector for the fight against terrorism. But I believe that this organization must also have another special structure, which will only deal with the same issue and will investigate people who have the intention of integrating themselves in such things, said Maloko. On the other hand, the head of the Kosovo Center for Security Studies, Florian Cihaya, says that the risk that Kosovo faces in terms of radical Islamic groups is now known. This issue has been a low security issue up until now, but now it has passed on high security. I believe that police, prosecution, and court have failed on this because it has not managed to finalize a so-called generic cycle of investigation, said Cihaya. Meanwhile, President of the Republic of Kosovo, Atifete Jahjaga, has raised the issue of the prevention of radical extremist acts in the meeting held with heads of securities agencies in Kosovo. President Jahjaga has demanded the institutions of the country to act based on the laws of Kosovo in order to disable radical and extremist activities that threaten the life of the citizens and aim to turn the country into a source of extremism. On July 30th, NATO High Commander Philip Bredlov said during his visit to Kosovo that radicalism is a concern for all NATO countries who are working together in addressing this phenomenon. The precise number of Albanians of Kosovo involved in the fighting in Iraq and Syria is not known, although the authorities say that they have information for tens of them. On March 14th of this year, Parliament of Kosovo has approved in principle the bill which prohibits citizens of Kosovo to participate in armed conflicts outside of their territories, a bill which could not take effect due to the dispersion of the parliament in May. The self-determination movement in Kosovo insists that in order to become part of the government with a bloc consisting of LDK, AAK, and Incentive, it must be this movement that leads the talk with Serbia. General Secretary of Self-Determination, Dardan Muljaji, said that the only issue remaining out of the 5 criteria set by this movement and which must be accepted by LDK, AAK, and Incentive is the issue of who leads the talks. Self-determination has constantly been against the talks with Serbia, but Muljaji said that once these talks are led by self-determination, then there will be proper talks. There will only be proper talks if they are led by self-determination. All talks are conditional talks. So far, the conditions have been imposed by Serbia. We believe that the conditions must be imposed by Kosovo, said Muljaji. Self-determination has demanded the evaluation of the talks conducted so far, the evaluation of agreements with international institutions, such as the Venice Commission, the start of talks with local Serbs in Kosovo, points which, according to self-determination officials, have been accepted by LDK, AAK Incentive bloc. The only condition which is yet to be accepted is for the talks to be conducted by self-determination, and then Albin Kurti's movement will be part of the government that the blocs aim to form. But Serbia is refusing to implement the main points of the Brussels Agreement. Many points of the April 19, 2013 agreement, which should have been met so far, have come to a deadlock due to Serbia's refusal. Based on the agreement in question, among others, Serbia has pledged that it will not prevent Kosovo in its integration in European structures, and vice versa. Analysts say that the current format of the talks with Serbia has become obsolete, and there's no point in continuing any further without implementing the main points, which stem from the April 19th agreement, such as the one for the dismantlement of illegal structures of Serbia and the appointment of the first instance courts in the north. Fisni Korenica from the Group for Legal and Political Studies said the government, led by Hashim Thaçi, is also to be blamed for the deadlock. According to him, this government continues its talks with Serbia, although the latter has not complied with the basic principles. According to Korenica, the situation has become more tense in the north of Kosovo after the installation of barricades. Obrenovac, 30 kilometers from southwest of Belgrade, has not been hit by this week's heavy rains. However, this town, which was the most affected by disastrous floods in May, with 13 casualties, 30,000 evacuated people, and 90% of the town flooded, will take years to recover, officials say. The locals would need additional help from donors and European Union, head of Obrenovac municipality, Miroslav Kukčović, said on Wednesday. The people of Obrenovac held several protests complaining of both insufficient amounts for relief provided by the governments and assessments of the damage. B92 television reported that the most of the houses in Obrenovac have suffered the 3rd and 4th category damage, which means that their owners could count on state donations between 200,000 and 250,000 Serbian dinars, also said 2,130 to 3,000 euros. Around 500 houses were registered as completely destroyed, and their owners will choose between constructing the new objects or compensating up to $3 million. Some 18 houses were considered to be partly damaged. Every time we ask Obrenovac municipality representatives about who did the assessment of the damage, we are being directed to Belgrade City's Assembly. Then we'll call Sinisa Mali, but he is always absent, a man from Obrenovac told B92. Another one, calls Marko Blagojevic, head of National Office for Renewal, to come to Obrenovac and explain the people what can they do with the money provided by the government. There are also the cases of residents which complain that damage on their houses has not been registered. Kukčović said that he was aware that there was not enough money and announced he would urge additional help from donors. Considering citizens disappointed by the amounts they have been offered with, Kukčović said he would recommend them to take that money, and at the same time we will strive to get additional help from the donors. The renovation of Obrenovac cannot be completed this month. I am in charge to ask a number of companies to buy us refrigerators, appliances that we would then distribute to citizens. We also expect additional help from the EU, given that Ambassador Michael Davenport has said that we're ready to provide additional funds for the concrete people, Kukčović told B92. The renovation will last for years, and any other assessment will be irresponsible, Kukčović underlined, adding that he was recommended Finance Ministry to help Obrenovac residents by introducing tax exemptions and providing favorable loans. And that was the news prepared for today. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow. Good night.